Good afternoon, evening, everybody. Adopted Zebra here, bringing you how to pay yourself with the Paycheck Protection Program using the gross income method. This video is specific for sole proprietors, self-employed people, LLC owners, or gig workers. Three things we're going to go over in this video. Number one, the new definition of payroll costs that the SBA has put into place, why this change is so important, and then we will go over how to pay yourself and what documentation you need to keep this time around in order to prove that you paid yourself appropriately. So, just a quick disclaimer as usual, I am not an accountant, I am not a lawyer, and I am not an SBA employee. Please always verify everything that you find on the internet with the appropriate individuals. So, second round PPP, the SBA has changed the definition of payroll costs. Prior to the second draw, payroll costs was simply line 31 on your Schedule C. And I just brought a Schedule C that I found on the internet, just cut off the top portion because it had nonsense on it. But your prior payroll was calculated by line 31 on your Schedule C. The new definition of payroll expenses includes proprietor expenses. What are proprietor expenses? Proprietor expenses include your business expenses plus your owner's compensation. Whenever I say owner's compensation, you immediately think line 31. For the rest of your life, that is what owner's compensation is. If you own a business, line 31 is your owner's compensation on your Schedule C. All right, so why is this change so important? The change is important because when we got our first paycheck protection loans, they were strictly for our owner's compensation on line 31. Well, the Schedule C kind of tells you why the change is so important. How does paying you just your paycheck help you keep your business open? Right now, it is imperative that we have the funds to function to keep our individuals' businesses open. If we don't have the funds, businesses are going to shut down, further hurting our economy, etc. You kind of know the drill. So, it is important in this second time around that they also pay us for our business expenses in addition to our regular paychecks, which is why we have the gross method this time. All right, so with that being said, let's go over how to calculate if you wanted to use this pretty much 100% for payroll. First thing for calculating how much you are going to get paid is you are going to need to calculate your loan amount. Now, many of you already have calculated your loan amount. You've probably gotten approved. Some of you who haven't, just going to go over this real quick. It could, because this is a real good indication of how this all works. So, that being said, on this individual Schedule C, the gross income was $54,575. So, we are going to take the whiteboard. How did they calculate your loan? $54,575. You take that and you divide it by 12 months because it's for a year on your Schedule C. Here we're dividing it by 12 months, which gives us $4,547.92. What do you do with that? You take that number and you multiply it by 2.5, 2.5 months, which gives you your grand total loan amount of $11,369.80. That is your total loan amount. That is very important because that's going to help you calculate what you pay yourself and what you use for business expenses. So that's how you calculate your loan amount, how they have done that. Now, you need to calculate your owner's compensation amount per month, what you would pay yourself per month. So you're going to take your line 31 on your Schedule C to calculate what you're going to pay yourself per month. And on this one, it is $36,146. And we're going to take that. What do? Divide that by 12, which gives us our monthly amount of $3,112.17. Now, going further, that we have this amount, we need to calculate how much of this takes up our loan. So how much of our loan is for strictly payroll? So we'll take that amount times 2.5, and that gives you an amount of $7,530.40. All right, what does this amount mean? This amount means out of your total $11,000 that you got in your loan, this amount is strictly to pay you. This amount here is strictly to pay you. It doesn't need anything more than the things we went over in the net payment method video. Some kind of paper tracking method, either with personal checks from a business account to a personal account, or through an online portal, just something real simple as that. So this amount is strictly to pay yourself. They don't need to know what you used the money for. They just need to know that you paid yourself. The second part, you'll need that number. Save that number with you. The second part is you take your total loan amount, if the marker would write, $11,369.80 minus the $7,530.42, which is the amount you pay yourself, that they don't need to know other than they need to see you pay yourself. So that amounts to pay you. And this amount here, when you subtract those two, because you want to subtract from your total loan the amount that goes just to you, and you have $3,839.38. Why is this number important? This number is important because this number is specific for business expenses. Now, when you go for forgiveness, this will all get lumped together and you'll be putting the total loan amount under the payroll expense. But the reason you want to separate these two is because they are paying you. They want to pay you just your owner's compensation based off your Schedule C, but they want this amount down here to go toward keeping your business open. So what does that mean? That means any of your usual business expenses that can be found on this Schedule C here. So anything that's listed here can be paid for using that money. For example, advertising. If you need to get some advertising going to draw in some more business because things are slower, that's what part of the monies can go toward. It can go toward your business insurance. It can go toward legal and professional services. Anything in here is classified as a business expense, and all you need to do is keep a receipt of anything like you normally would. If you're putting it on your Schedule C, you know you got to have a receipt. So just keep your normal receipts just like normal. Now, for figuring out how to pay yourself, because like I said, when you apply for forgiveness, they're going to lump all this together and they're only going to need to know that you use this amount up here for your payroll costs. But like I said, it is important to separate the two because technically you are not to pay yourself more than line 31. And once again, you will pay yourself for 10 weeks. 2.5 times 4, average of 4 weeks in a month equals 10. So you will do that for 10 weeks. Okay, so for the synopsis of this video, how are you going to pay yourself using the gross method? Answer is very simple. You're going to use your owner's compensation amount using the net method. So just like in the prior video. So for this specific example, let's go ahead and your amount that you were going to pay yourself was $7,530.42. That was what we calculated out of the loan amount was set aside for owner's compensation. That amount we are taking and we are dividing it by 10 weeks. So the answer for how much per week are you writing yourself a check, transferring money via an account, filling out a pay stub on Microsoft Word, you are, for the grand total amount per week, $753.04. You are paying yourself. Why are you not paying yourself for the loan amount divided by 10? Because if you have a business and you have a business banking account and a personal checking account, remember, when you run a business, you want to keep your business account separated from your personal funds in the event that you get sued or held liable for bodily injury or any injury in general. You always want to keep your personal funds separate from your business funds. So the amount that you're using for business expenses, you need to keep separate from your personal funds. So that's why you're only paying yourself the net amount. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you made it all the way to the end, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Let's see who made it all the way to the end. And I look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Any questions, concerns, comments down in the comment section. And go ahead and subscribe and share to someone who might need this information. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. See you in the next video.